Hello, everyone. This is Edgar Malone again, and we're actually working our way down through how to create your own, MOC CMZ. So that mock CMZ, when we're actually in this, one of the things I've been doing is showing a person how to go from creating, getting your information for your fleeting note, then how to create a Cornell Zettel, and then from there we create our mind map so that we can get to the most important part of the whole reason you want to do this particular method and use this process. We want to get some permanent notes. Now, if you know anything about what they call the Zettelkasten, you realize that in a Zettelkasten you have a fleeting note, and in it you have a literature note, and then from there you have a permanent note. And as you work your way through that particular process, what you're doing is you're trying to get everything that you can to get your, extract the information, word it in your own words, and then actually the end result is how one idea, one thought to summarize what you're creating. So what we actually want to do is inside of the mock CMZ, what you want to do is you want to actually work with this and get that same idea. It's like always the formula to always think about this formula. It should be one note equals one idea. So when you get your permanent note and you get ready to summarize it all up, when you get to it, it should only be that one thought that you have from there. And the reason is you want to be able to walk away and say, I got understanding for how to actually do this particular thing. And one of the reasons in the other video, my one that was talking about how to create the mind map, one of the reasons I did what I did, I want to show you, well, I can't lie. I actually was struggling with coming up with my own permanent notes, but I realized, just like I was saying, it should be only one note, one idea. And one of the things you're going to see as we work through this particular mind map, we're going to see why this particular one permanent note would not work. And then we're going to see how we should correct it. That way we will always have a way to build upon and go from there to have that one, note and that one idea. So right now you're looking at the mind map that we created, and it's reasons to praise God. Now, one of the things that I did when we was doing this is I actually created a permanent note from this idea, from this one particular, thought. Here's where the problem comes in. I need to be able to say when I do a permanent note, is it only one idea that I can have reasons to praise God? Right here, we see that there's, at least two things right here. What is two of the reasons to praise God? God is faithful forever. God kindness is great. So when you see that, is that actually going to make this permanent note, reasons to praise God? Is it actually going to be one idea, one note? And no, it's not. So therefore, this is wrong. So I have the note created here. I have this here, but I got to delete this because if I stay true to the whole setup, this is not going to work. So we got to create that. So now we got that problem. So now we're going to go ahead and drag our box right back up here. So now what do we have? We're going to have, the main central idea. Reasons to praise God. That was the central idea of how, how that particular Cornell Zettel was. Cornell Zettel was. So from here, we're going to draw our branches back. So here, this is going yellow because all of this is connected to who is to praise, Yahweh. So we're going to make it yellow. Okay, ways to praise God. Got to make us a branch here to go back here. We'll click on it, and we're going to make it purple because ways to praise God, we are to exalt him. Then reasons to praise God, we're going to put, God is faithful forever. And then we're going to bring another one here. So God is faithful forever. We click on this because that's orange. and we're going to click on this branch and turn it red because God kindness is great. So now here's what you need to always do. If you ever make a mistake, you should have all your information here. So we know that our canvas is, called Reasons to Praise God. Always, when you get a canvas, it's going to be untitled at first. Always right click and rename it. That way you'll actually know where that particular, and usually it's best practice to use the Cornell Zettel as a way to name that particular mind map. So it should have the same name. So that's what you want to do here. So Reasons to Praise God is the same name. This particular Reasons to Praise God, it would not be wrong to have it as a note, but it would be extremely wrong to have it as a permanent note. So what we're going to do, we're going to trash it. We're going to right click and we're going to delete. So now we have exhort, because exalt, extol. I keep saying the wrong. Extol is what we actually want to have right here. That's that particular note right there. So now one of the things we can do is we can create some more permanent notes. So God is faithful forever. So yes, I want to say that's one thought. And what do we want to do in this one thought? We want to create it as a permanent note. So convert it to a file. So always remember, when you're working inside of the mind map, you want to have that particular file name to be the same name as what you have inside of your, mind map. So right here, we're going to say God is faithful forever. We're going to save that. So we see that note became there, and God kindness is great. So what we're going to do, we're going to click here and we're going to right click, convert to file. We'll right click at there, and God kind is great. So same file name as what we have in the mind map. Save. And now you see that we have within this particular mind map, we have 3 permanent notes that we've created. So we have extol, we have God is faithful forever, and we have God kindness is great. So what we're going to do is extol. When we click on that, best practice to do is we're going to delete that out. And now we're going to go to a hotkey or go to the key that you have to go to your templates. And mine is Control T or Command T inside of your particular vault. If you go on a Mac, and I get my templates as far as all of my templates concerned, we created a permanent note. So right here, the permanent note, we click on it. It's going to give us the title of the actual note, and underneath there, it's going to give us that one thing to always remember. Note. One note equal one idea. So when we talk about exalt, even though extol can have several different definitions, we want to summarize it in our own words, what we think it means, and it should be only one thought. So right now, extol to us means to praise God with great awe. That's all I have to put. It's at one straight to the point thought, and what it means to praise God with great awe. Now, when we think about our reference, how do we reference this? Where did you get this information from? You need to always have a way to link back to this particular thought and stuff. This is something extremely important within a MOC-CMZ. No permanent note should be an orphan. It should never be without a home. It should always have brothers and sisters. It should always have a parent. It should always come from somewhere. That way, within your vault, it's not floating around. If you have a note that is an orphan and don't have a home, you either have to find a home for it or you have to get rid of it, because everything should be able to connect to each other. We know that we got this particular, permanent note, and we went to the mind map for that. If you wasn't part of that process, where this particular exalt, I keep saying exalt, where extol come from is a Cornell Zettel that was talking about reasons to praise God. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and click the plus sign to have us a new tab and have it highlighted. And if you look in the Cornell Zettel source notes, right here is that particular Cornell Zettel. And this is where we got our information, extol, and it's like, this is the way to praise God or exalt God and with great awe. I summarized that, and this is where we got to praise God with great awe. That's the way I want to put it in my own words. Now, here's the thing. Remember, we want to be able to connect this note to extol. This is one of the best and great tools and great ways that Obsidian is like a great tool to do any type of research and any type of study. We can always link back to certain notes or to certain things so that we can use it for future reference. So right here, one of our references for this is we have that particular Cornell Zettel. Inside of Obsidian, to link back to that particular note, you want to put double brackets, and it's going to give you a list of notes that's within your inside your vault. For us, we know that it's called Reasons to Praise God, and if you see inside of this particular highlight, we have, even though we have two things that's named Reasons to Praise God, we know that since we put our note inside of the Cornell Zettel folder, we know that this particular note is the one that we want to go to. So when we click on this, it's going to give us Reasons to Praise God. Now, I'm going to show you this so that you'll know how to create them for future reference. Well, we're going to create a alias, which we can name this anything. But if you put this down, and a whole lot of people call it just a pipe, key or whatever. If you go ahead and hit shift and go with the pipe, you can call this like good if you wanted to. And if you click off of it, it will have good as the name of this particular note, even though the original note never changed. But what we want to do is get in the habit of always putting an alias there, because as you work throughout your vault, you may have reasons that you want to call that particular link back something else inside one note, but you want to actually always keep the original name of it. So instead of you having to change the name of that entire note, you can just have an alias of what this is. So right here, Reasons to Praise God is Reasons to Praise God. And I know it seems redundant, but it's better to be redundant in this aspect than to actually get in a habit of not doing this, and then you start changing the name of a note and realize, well, I didn't really want to do that. So if you see this, we have, that's the original note, that's the alias. When you click off of it, you have this. Now here's a tool for you. Once you have your permanent note, you can actually go to here, and actually this is in reading mode. In reading mode, this is how it's going to actually look. So this permanent note, exalt is to praise God with great awe, and the reference to that, we can just hover over it, and what it's going to do is it's going to reference back to the Cornell Zettel. Therefore, it's going to tell us the mini essay for Reasons to Praise God, and it's going to give you all the information right here, the psalm and all that. And it's going to give you all the questions and all the key words to that. And what will you see? You'll see extol is right here, and this is a way to praise God or exalt God and with great awe. And it will also let you link back to how you got the fleeting note. Even though the fleeting note could already be history itself, if you actually got it from a website, best practice, we already talked about it. You can click here, and then you'll actually get back to here. It's got now this particular permanent note has, brothers and sisters, it has something that works with it. It has something that actually lets you know, where did this come from? It had to birth from something, and this is the way that you get this. So now one of the things that you can do is just like how we have God is faithful forever, we can do the same thing for it. And for God kindness is great. If we were to take all of this and do the same thing, that's what we would do. Now what we want to do now is we want to take these permanent notes and put it in here. So I know this one is finished, and I'm going to go ahead, just like we did with the Zorda, with the Cornell Zettel, we can right click and then we can go move file to, and we want to make sure that it goes to the permanent note. So when we click on it, we go to permanent notes. And if I remember right, I may already have some in here. And yes, I do. So right here is, Cotel, Xtol. I'm going to get it right, one time, y'all. Y'all going to laugh so much about this video. But Xtol is going to be right there in our permanent notes. And therefore, we can actually work with this. And from now on, we have a permanent note that if we search for it, we can actually find it. And then if we need to figure out how did this particular permanent note, this thought come from, where did it, birth from, we can walk it all the way down to where it actually came from. So this is how you create a permanent note.